Greetings to you all. I'm pleased to welcome you to the 2014 National Wilderness Conference in Albuquerque. I'm truly disappointed I was not able to join you personally, but I'm with you in spirit today as we honor the inspiring conservation successes that our nation has enjoyed since the passage of the 1964 Wilderness Act. Over 100 million acres of protected wilderness in 44 different states. Today, we commemorate a historic legacy, a wonderful gift to future generations. The Wilderness Act has been a model for land preservation around the world, and we should feel proud to have set such a shining example for others. Let us take a moment to remember this impressive accomplishment of the 88th Congress. It was 50 years ago, on September 3rd, 1964, that the Wilderness Act was signed into law by President Lyndon Johnson. America told the world that we are going to protect the wild places left in this country so that future generations of Americans can enjoy the healthy life and spiritual enrichment that only wilderness can provide. Our wilderness system was established for the use and enjoyment of the American people, as it is written in the legislation itself. I commend Mr. Sennheiser on the beautiful words with which he captured the underlying value of wilderness, those direct and indirect benefits of wilderness that range from the scientific, ecological, and educational uses to the recreational, spiritual, and cultural. Beyond its own intrinsic value, wilderness for me truly is a refuge. I would like to talk a bit about one of the biggest challenges I faced as President of the United States. I was determined to find a resolution for the long-standing controversy over the millions of acres of public lands in Alaska. And that determination only grew more resolute as Rosa and I began to develop a personal connection with the wild landscapes of that beautiful state. Having had the privilege of visiting Alaska on a number of occasions, we fell in love with the native people and with the land. I knew that this could be a major stepping stone for the progress on the conservation front. With my good friend, Secretary of the Interior, Cecil Andrews, and key members of the House and Senate, we studied detailed maps of the region to determine how much of Alaska's natural beauty could be preserved without inhibiting the state's economic development. We began to forge compromises that ultimately resulted in the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act. It was a landmark bill that I signed into law on December 2nd, 1980, one of my last legislative decisions as president. With that law, we set aside for conservation an area that was larger than the entire state of California. We had doubled the size of our National Park and Wildlife Refuge System, and we had designated 25 free-flowing Alaskan streams as the wild and scenic rivers they were. With the stroke of a pen, we tripled our nation's wilderness system. Alaska was a milestone for the conservation effort, and it was a milestone for me personally. Passing that law was one of the most gratifying moments during my life in public office. While it is important to celebrate what we have accomplished over the last 50 years, it is equally important that we keep a watchful eye on the horizon. We look back today on a proud and rich history of land protection in this country, but we must also consider and plan for the future. As citizens, it is our right and our duty to challenge our elected officials, to guide them with suggestions on how to improve and how to progress. Our wilderness system was established for the use and enjoyment of the American people. As the 114th Congress gears up for a fresh start in January 2015, this is a perfect opportunity for us to tell the President and the members of the 114th Congress that we believe in the need to preserve our wild lands and that there is important work yet to be done. At this time, 44 of our states have designated wilderness. We've come far, but we can't stop there. Millions of acres of public lands have been recommended to Congress for wilderness designation. Some of these proposals have been sitting without action for over 30 years. Some of our most cherished national icons, including Glacier, Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, and the Great Smoky Mountains, and the Grand Canyon, are on the list of recommended sites but have not been given the added level of protection afforded by the Wilderness Act. We must get these proposals back in the public spotlight so that wilderness protection can be made permanent by law. Let's leave a legacy of conservation to future generations. Let's inspire people around the world to protect special wild places by being the first to lead the way. And also, let's visit those areas and feed our own wild spirits. Working together, we can face this wilderness challenge and make sure that the world we leave our children and our grandchildren is one rich with protected wild country. Rosa and I hope you enjoy your days in Albuquerque. Talk with each other, brainstorm together, and build an even stronger community of wilderness supporters. Set impressive goals for yourselves and do what you can to preserve and protect America's wilderness. Thank you for all of your good work.